Hey everybody, Thomas here, and it's another miserable day at the sawmill. 42 degrees, winds calm right now, but expected to pick up quite considerably. I've got a few more pine logs. I'm trying to get it cut up for a customer to possibly pick up whenever it's not nasty. But I think we're supposed to get down to 26 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, low of like 22. So pretty miserable. Today, cutting some pine. It's fresh cut, as you can see. I mean, it was just blowing the sap out and everything. These are messy logs. I've got a lot of sawdust here cutting the past few days. Absolutely just disgusting logs with all the bark on there. I like to cut them when the bark is starting to come off because you don't have to deal with all this. I'm dealing with all sorts of debris and build up around the saw head, so I have to clean it more regularly. I sprayed everything down with automatic transmission fluid. That's every sawyer who runs a hydraulic mill, or actually really any mill where you've got a track system or you've got pieces and parts that move up and down and roller chain. Automatic transmission fluid is a great thing to keep in like a spray bottle, and I just spray pretty much everything down. This mill is just over a year old and there's really no rust anywhere on her. Of course, I do keep it covered and everything, but I make sure to go through and spray down everything that I can, keep everything moving. Also, automatic transmission fluid does a really good job of not causing buildup of sawdust in the area you spray it, so it actually does stay pretty clean. What other things going forward? I gotta show a video on the shop. I'll do that here in a little bit and everything, and that's what I'll tie into this video. So I'm gonna do some time-lapse stuff here of cutting this pine stuff. In fact, I'm just gonna cut up this one log here, and then I'm probably gonna call it for right now. Wait till the rain kind of dies down. We're about to have about 2 to 3 hours of heavy rain, and just because I just don't want to mess with it, I'm just tearing up my yard out there with the tractor and everything. Even though I've got the R4 tires, I am literally tearing up the yard. But once I cut this up, we'll go into the shop and I'll show you some great progress we've made in the shop and what we're going to be doing here soon. And also, I'll do another video of this, but we just did buy a laser engraver. I'm going to do a setup video of this laser engraver we got, where I got the laser engraver, how much I paid for it, how long it takes to set it up, because I'm going to go ahead and film it. So stay tuned, lots to come. That's the first purchase. Man, my hands are cold, so red right now. That's the first purchase of some woodworking equipment. The next purchase I'm about to make, I gotta get over the price tag a little bit, but we'll see. All right, stay tuned for some time lapse of cutting up this pine log. All right, so that was fun. As you saw, I did a blade change out. That blade change out was due to a few things. Of course I had a lot of board foot through that blade already. I went through like 6 blades this weekend, but what I saw, it wasn't cutting as fast, but also one indication you can have is your sawdust. So if you look at your sawdust, and unfortunately I didn't stop it and talk about this, but when you start getting really fine sawdust, that means you've essentially taken a set out of your blade and you're not getting that very aggressive cut, and therefore it's slowing down your cutting speed. So if you first grab some sawdust when you're first cutting everything, you'll notice there are larger particulates and stuff like that in it. As you continue to run that blade until it's essentially dull, those particulate sizes get smaller. Once you start running small sawdust like that, you're really working that blade, you're stressing that blade, you're working the engine more than it needs to be worked. So, don't try to push it. Once I was, into that clean wood, I didn't really care. But when especially cutting on pine like this, where there's lots of, in this case, there's gonna be a lot of sap right there in that knot section. I'm cutting this. This is for a customer. This is the 18-wheeler load of logs that were dropped off. But when you're cutting pine like this, the reason I like to get the bark off is because inside this bark, you can't really see too much on here, but you'll get like dirt, debris, plus you got this chunks of stuff just flying off, going all over the place. It'll help to clog up your exhaust and stuff on your sawmill. So little tidbit of knowledge, if you let them sit for about, oh, I don't know, 4 to 6 months, the bark will start to fall off. And I do much prefer when the bark is off of them. Now the logs are definitely more slippery, so be careful when handling those logs. Excuse me, they will flip right off your forks because they're just going to slide around. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get my light system turned on here so you can see all this fun stuff. So it's going to be dark just for a second. Let me go get my lights on. Hold on a second. Yeah, that temperature is definitely dropping. Absolutely soaking wet and nice and cold, so that's fun. So inside the shop here, what I'm going to show you is some of the things that I've done. How do I make this thing rotate? Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right, so yesterday I went ahead and built this bench system, if you will, where I'm storing some of my tools just to keep things out of the way. It's been working out really nicely just because it helped me clear out this whole center section right here. As you can see, I've got wooden tools on the oak over there, and I've got tools and wood on the oak on this side. And the reason is because I need to start putting down the flooring in the center part of my building. Now, currently the flooring on the left-hand side right here, it comes out about almost 6 feet from the wall. I'm going to do the same thing on this back side right here, have it come out about another 2 more feet, and then I'm going to change the orientation of my flooring. Now my subfloor, I have it on the bias right here, and my joists underneath of this are all in different directions. Each quadrant, if you will, the joists are in different directions. So I'm trying to max or minimize the amount of load on any single girder holding everything up. Also, by changing the orientation of the flooring, I think it's going to look nice. So there's that. I did add this ladder section right here, stair ladder section. Now this is, again, the upstairs. That upstairs section is going to be for the kids. It's going to be their play area. Roughly a 12 by 12 area. And I think this will be very enjoyable for them, because what I'm going to do on the front face up here is I'm actually going to make like you would a tree house. I'm going to have like little wooden framed in windows, you know, with little cross members across it. I think that'd be really cute and cool for the kids. Again, they've got a 12 by 12 area up there. If they want to do a sleepover, or if they want to do, you know, just camp out in the shop, that's totally cool, because the shop, it's going to be air controlled, AC controlled, so climate controlled environment, really nice. I also, by this bench section right here again, I am going to come back and put a kitchenette, so I will be putting a sink in there. My top that I did there, that's pine, that's 1.5 inch thickness. And then what I'll do is I'll probably come back and epoxy that once she's fully dried and everything. And it'll be kind of a rustic farmhouse look, and I don't really care. I think it's going to be fun. I think Annie smells an egg over there. But anyways, the way I did this, it's the same width on my stairs as it is over here. Sorry, the lighting's pretty crap. But these studs are going to be on the outside face of the joist up there. And essentially this corner right here is where the bathroom's going to be. It's going to come all the way out to this hickory header right here. So that's essentially a 12 by 4 bathroom. It's going to have a commode in the corner where all the wood's at, a sink right here in the middle, and the shower will be right here about where Lucy's at. And the door opening will be about where Annie's tugging on Lucy's ear. The only thing I haven't figured out is where I'm going to put the fridge out here. Since this is my woodworking shop, but when we do sell the property, this could be a mother-in-law suite, if you will. We are going to also use the back side of this building. We'll be adding another extension on the back to process or to milk the goats, essentially. And I want to be able to have a fridge in here. I haven't figured out the orientation of the fridge yet. I might build like a little box on the back side of this post right here. Maybe some countertop space or something That'll be the fridge there. But I don't want to make this fully a kitchenette while I'm using it. That'll be something that'll be down the road a little bit. First things first, I got to make this thing a usable workshop, and I need to hurry up and get the flooring in here and all that good stuff. Now, excuse me, I've done all the metal work that I'm going to be doing down here on the bottom floor, and I've got my what do you call it, like a header board there that's poplar, and on the back side we've got a 1.5 by 4, and then this is an 1 by 6, so it covers the actual jagged edge of the metal and actually, you know, keeps that in place. On the bottom side, I'm also going to have a trim piece that goes along the bottom once I get all my flooring in. That'll cover up any kind of unevenness of the floor as well. We've got R12 insulation in the walls, and the spray foam, the close-up ahead above there, I have that as R12 as well. So the whole building, again, 24 by 24, will have a pretty good insulation factor. And as you can see, I do have some daylight popping through there. On the back side, I've got some areas I got to cover up. Also, you'll see up at the top there, I've taken down some boards up there, and you see that opening there. I'm contemplating putting in 2 little small windows there for the kids to kind of look out. It'll be like little octagonal shape or circular shape windows. Haven't figured out that exactly yet. We might have to custom make those windows. I've got some buddies that have some 1/2-inch tempered glass that we might be playing with to see if we can do that. And I have 2 little gaps here still have to fill. I've gone through and I've spray foamed all my little gaps here and added cedar boards, but I've got the little bit of gap between, this is my little screw up, from the ridges of the metal. I butted them all up against the studs, and I should have left myself a gap to put a board in there. You know, you live, you learn. So whatever. And again, we're in George County, Mississippi. We don't have any codes, so pretty nice. I'm very happy the way that my center piece looks there. I've got my 6 by 6 oak pieces. I've got my angled pieces out of cedar, and that center post is pine. Now I'm going to come back and sand those down. I think that'll look really good, make those colors pop, maybe add some kind of protective UV coating to that as well. Again, we've got the windows in on both sides, and I just have to trim out the rest of the way around them. And I've also started putting in this pine board here. I'm not going to have any outlets on the front face of these walls here, so I'm just going to go ahead and wall those all the way up. The only outlet that I'll have will be a light switch here that'll power the lights on the front porch, as well as the lights inside the shop here. Also, I'm contemplating ideas on electrical. What I think I'm going to do, I'm sure there's probably someone cringing, but you know, this is my workshop. We live in a county where there's no codes, and I also want to make this thing look kind of rustic. I'm going to go ahead and all my outlets are essentially at the 4.5 foot level. They're all going to be coming through all these studs right here. I'm going to go ahead and drill like a U shape all around the entire shop. So it'll be running down this wall, that wall, and then of course the adjacent wall over there. What I'm thinking about doing is, in order to make everything uniform and clean everything, I think I'm going to actually put junction boxes on this plate right here. So I'll have my electrical run through the walls, and I'll have like a little pigtail that comes out, and I'll tie into a junction box. That will be really easy. First off, I think it's going to look, you know, rustic. It'll kind of match the thing I'm going with. But also, if I need to ever change anything, it'll be easier to do that than having to do little cutouts on the actual boards I'm going to put up here. I'm just thinking. Anyways, on this wall, we'll have at least 1, possibly 2, 230 outlets, and then the rest of them will be 115 outlets. And then on the center post right here, I'm going to actually have electrical, probably not go overhead. I'm probably going to bring it under, come through the floor and everything, and I'll have outlets on here. I'll have Molly or Lucy. She's trying to get an egg, I'm sure. These chickens have been laying in here recently. Anyways, I'm going to have 2 or 3 115 outlets here, and probably 1 230 outlet on the front face. That way, if I get a larger table saw or for the planer or something like that, yeah. So the only other thing I've got to figure out is dust collection system in here. I've been watching a lot of good YouTube videos on that. I think I'm going to do what my dad's doing. We bought the Oneida dust Venturi system for him. He's installing that up in the shop up in Tennessee, and it's been working really well. But he has his dust collector on the outside of the building. If I do something like that, I'm gonna do the same thing and just have an on-off switch in here. It'll keep the noise down and also keep some of that dust down. Annie, don't do that. Come here, come here. She's chewing on wood just for the heck of it, because that's what she does. She's a puppy. But yeah, overall pretty happy. I was trying to add some new content to this video, so I'm down to, I think I've cut about 1/3 of the pine logs for the 18-wheeler job. Hopefully those will be out here soon. The fire's been going for 2 days now, and those are all offcuts. I think this weekend alone, I cut up somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 board foot of pine, mostly in the 2x4s, 2x6s, and there were a couple of 1x12s and stuff in there. But everything's been going well. Just not looking forward to this cold weather we're about to receive. Down here in southern Mississippi, we typically don't get this cold of weather very often. We're expected, I think, 26 degrees tonight, 22 the following night, and another night of 26, and then we'll start to warm up where our lows will only be in the 30s. But it's always, challenging, because since we don't deal with the cold weather, I got to make sure all my pipes and everything are done up. I've got to close up the or cover up the well and everything, make sure I don't have any issues with freezing there. So, some of my subscribers up in Canada, like literally, I've got some folks up there, Crazy Canuck, he was sending me some pictures of his temperatures, and they were like -20, -30. So I really have nothing to be complaining about, but it just sucks. So, and that's actually because it's going to be wet. It's a very wet cold down here, if that makes any sense. But especially since it's raining, we may have some freezing road conditions in the morning. Oh, my dogs, there's something else. But yeah, we'll see. Also, the other thing I've got to worry about is this section right here in front of my shop where I need to pour my concrete like some kind of fast. I get some water pooling right there, and that's not cool. So, oops, sorry, dog hit the camera. We need to get that fixed. So concrete will be in our near future, but I got to get past this cold weather, so I don't have to worry about adding anything to the concrete. But yeah, stay tuned. Lots more to come. Episode 2 of the Sawmill, searching for sawmills video. Hopefully we'll have that out sometime, probably next weekend. We'll probably have it out next weekend. We're going to go take a look at one of my buddies' sawmills, another one up in Greene County, and it's a wood miser. And we'll go, I'm not going to give away all the details, but it's I haven't seen the newer version of this one. I've run an older one before, but we're going to go check out the new one and see how she cuts. It's a gas burner, and yeah, we'll go from there. Stay tuned. We'll see you around. Please like, subscribe, try to get the channel growing. We do have just a lot of stuff coming up. I'm telling y'all folks, this year is going to be pretty interesting. The build of the sawmill. There's another build I can't talk about yet. I've got an investor right now that we're looking into making a cheaper version of something that's out there that's extremely expensive. We're just trying to get through all the engineering difficulties with that. But we're working. We are working. Stay tuned. We'll see you around.